G'day students. So I just want to go through the first step, if you missed it, for the, the current maths project. If you go to sector, you'll see there's a few documents that are all worth looking at, but we particularly want to look at the presentation document here. And the project's split into three parts. The first part starts with us drawing a grid of 6 by 6. So draw that in your notebook. And from that 6 by 6 grid, there's a bunch of rectangles that we can find. And just remember, as you're thinking about it, a square is a special sort of rectangle. So for example, if I were to draw and connect those dots here, I get a 1 by 1 rectangle or a 1 by 2 rectangle. So that's what we're doing in the first part, is saying, well, if we've got this 6 by 6 grid, how many rectangles can we form? And I just want to point out one little trick here, is that if you join the dots, like all of them, you find the longest side length you can. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long. So the longest rectangle you're going to have is 5 by 5. So how many rectangles are there between 1 and 1 and 5 by 5? And some of you will be looking at and saying, well, we'll be able to do 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, and so on. So in your journal, the first step you've got is to draw these rectangles, and there should be 15 of them. Another little point is a 1 by 2 rectangle is effectively the same as one that might be too long and one down. So once you have one set of side lengths, 1 by 2, 3 by 1, you can't then have 2 by 1 or 3 by 1 because they're effectively the same. You need 15 different size rectangles. So you can see here, this person has started, and they haven't quite gone to 5 on their grid paper here, but they've drawn one that's 1 by 2, 1 by 1 by 2, one that's 1 by 3, and so on. So your job is to do, in a methodical way, draw your 15 rectangles. You'll have to use a number of series of these 6 dots. You can use grid paper like they've done here, or you can draw your 6 dots and say, okay, I'm going to start with this one, or I'm going to start with all the ones that are 1 wide. I go to the ones that are 1 wide, the ones that are 2 wide, then on to the ones that are 3 wide, 4 wide, and 5 wide. And as I said, you should be getting 15 different rectangles.